I'm assuming if you click this video, you've noticed the long-forgotten trend once buried under fat-positive fascists. I mean, body-positive, health at every size influences, is making a comeback. Yes, baby. Skinny is in, and so are low-rise jeans. Trends tend to resurface every 20 years, whether in fashion or other industries, especially in a time when trends come and go faster than the term skibbity toilet, which to this day I have no idea what means, and honestly, it makes me feel really old. And I'm Gen Z. Okay. But how does this all tie back to beauty? Well, my friends, that's where I pull out my expertise. I'm Vanessa, but you can call me Ness, a media studies graduate and a certified NLP practitioner. Basically a professional nerd obsessed with how humans work. And if you're new here, which you probably are because this is my first video ever, feel free to subscribe. Really, it's just a button. Click. Okay, let's dive in. The future of beauty isn't just about looking good. It's about staying ahead of the game. With Pluto in Aquarius from 2023 right up until 2044, beauty standards are about to evolve in ways that could completely change how we as a society see our bodies. In this video, I'll break down how these planetary transit is going to impact not only the masses, but also the elite 1%. Who have always had a way of doing the opposite of what the public embraces. We are already seeing trends like Ozempic for weight loss, a shift towards minimalistic beauty, and the rise of androgynous, almost alien-like features. Sorry for putting these people on the screen, but I'm sorry. Does this not look unhealthy to you? But I digress. These right here are all early signs of how Pluto in Aquarius will reshape our physical ideals. In 2023, Pluto entered into Aquarius. With Pluto in Aquarius, we're witnessing a shift in how we define beauty. Aquarius is known for its rebellion against tradition, as I mentioned earlier, which honestly is all about being the most extreme version of yourself, a thirst for individuality, and a love for all things technological. In the past, beauty standards were shaped by culture and the whims of fashion, but now we're seeing a technological revolution in how we look and how we define ourselves. I mean, we live in an age where it is possible to put a filter over your body or get plastic surgery or even gene edit, which I think is something that has already been established in China, where you can literally plan the genes that you are going to pass on or not pass on to your embryo. Is that the word? Yeah, I'm not a scientist, but here's the article on the screen. You can literally give your child blue eyes, even though genetically speaking, none of your ancestors have blue eyes. Beauty is becoming increasingly individualized. The masses might lean toward quick fixes like Ozempic or invasive procedures like weight loss surgery and so forth, but the elite class, the 1%, is more likely to embrace cutting-edge technologies to subtly redefine their bodies. And what makes me say this is because I've just been paying a lot of attention to the recent plastic surgery. I mean, if you look at Donatella, Lindsay Lohan, Christina Aguilera, do they not look years younger? I'm pretty sure they are gatekeeping who the surgeon is. And honestly, the work looks amazing. It looks so natural. It doesn't feel like she had plastic surgery. Imagine if all of us had access to that kind of surgery, making you look 20 years younger than you actually are. And the reason why I bring up this point is because, well, as the masses, we are influenced by the 1%. Think about the Kardashians and their ability to shape and shift and influence body trends. If the BBL is in, it's because of them. If the BBL is out, it's also because of them. Maybe not directly, but they do play a large part in the constantly shifting trends. The 1% will continue to differentiate themselves by moving in the opposite direction of mass trends. It's the same like the BBL. At first, the BBL was really exclusive. Only a certain number of people could get it, aka celebrities. Then, BBLs became more affordable and cheaper as it became a widespread thing. And guess what? Your girl next door was able to get herself a BBL when she should have been at therapy. So now that substances such as Ozempic have become widely used in society and has had massive reach, what will the next body trend look like? Since everyone is becoming super skinny. The way that the beauty trends nowadays are moving so fast honestly reminds me of the movie The Substance. If you haven't watched it, I highly suggest you watch it. It is very aesthetically pleasing. I don't know how to explain it without ruining the film. To become the hottest version of yourself, you have to inject a substance. That is the best way I could explain this. And to think I wrote film reviews for years in university and I can't say a single synopsis. Anyways, as beauty standards push further into the extreme, the substance kind of served as a warning about the lengths that people would go to conform to ideals. I mean, we see this all the time. How people used to consume tapeworms or, start smoking cigarettes because it promises that you will be skinny, or even starving yourself in order to get the idealized beauty. And this not only relates to weight loss, but to other beauty treatments, whether people extremely tan or bleach their skin or ruin their hair or whatever the case is, people are willing to do anything. I mean, have you seen the amounts of people getting veneers when their teeth were just fine? Now they all look a bit odd. But I digress. The substance. I feel like this film is criticizing the current obsession with just society's fixation on beauty. And it is happening in real time. We're already seeing this with the rise of extreme beauty products and procedures. For example, Ozempic, which was once used for diabetes treatment, is now being widely used for weight loss, sparking a conversation about quick fixes and their consequences. I mean, has anyone actually researched what the long-term effects of using Ozempic to lose weight are? I have heard countless horror stories as I was doing research on this. Ozempic, along with all the extreme beauty treatments that are becoming more widespread and available to the masses, is just the tip of the iceberg. With advancements in cosmetic surgeries, genetic editing, and biohacking, I mean, there's this guy who plans on living until 100 years old. I saw a comment that said he looks really healthy but terminally ill at the same time, which I can kind of see it. He really scares me every time he pops up on my social media feed, but I'm like, you know what? Do what you need to do to live longer. If he can live up to 120, I will applaud him. So we can definitely see a future where beauty standards become increasingly dangerous, pushing us further into the realm of the unnatural. Something like the substance does not seem too foreign. I mean, with Pluto in Aquarius, anything is possible. When we look at beauty standards have always been a reflection of class, race, and privilege. Pretty privilege is a thing, whether you want to admit it or not. The prettier you are, the more doors open for you. Historically speaking, the wealthy used their bodies to differentiate themselves from the masses. For example, in the 1700s, royals were often overweight, signaling their access to wealth and luxury, to meats and sugar. In contrast, the peasants were usually thinner, symbolizing they worked all day, they were in the fields, and didn't have much to eat because they were too poor. Fast forward to today, we still see similar patterns. Eurocentric beauty standards favoring thinness, lighter skin, and symmetrical features, which are deeply ingrained in Western culture. And even though we did have that BBL era, mind you, women of color, particularly Black women, have always had that kind of body shape. But the minute you put it on a fairer skinned woman, it's considered beautiful. It's considered something to praise, even when they borrow beauty from other communities because they themselves happen to be white. But before we go on a whole detour on race, yes, I acknowledge in terms of beauty, it is a problem. Let's stick to the topic. The masses are catching up. Modification technologies is becoming more accessible. Everyone knows that it is possible to get skinny. I think being skinny is more accessible than having a BBL body. It is a genetic thing. But with skinny, you just need to eat less. So if everybody nowadays can afford to be beautiful, even your average Jane can go and get herself some rhinoplasty, lip fillers, a few injections here and there, Botox, whatever body modification technology there is, what will separate the elite from just normal people? My prediction, especially with Pluto in Aquarius, is that the elite will begin embracing new body types, perhaps opting for highly toned, athletic bodies, or even an androgynous, futuristic look, which is like almost alienish, while the general masses will stick with like familiar ideals of slimness and symmetry. And to be honest, I find it particularly interesting that we will go from, being able to modify our bodies to probably an era where health and fitness is encouraged, especially with I've been looking at the fashion trends for this summer, a lot of athleisure on the runways. I feel like there's going to be a push for fitness, kind of like in the 80s, also with the Substance movie that came out, a really big push for a health conscious society where you have to work for the body that you want instead of using Ozempic or using surgery. You'll be praised more for doing something naturally than using technology. That is one prediction. Or maybe we will go to a much more extreme side where looking unnatural becomes the new beauty standard. But what are your thoughts? What do you think society might end up pushing? Also, an interesting thing that I found is that this generation particularly, everyone is beautiful. And with everyone being beautiful, the competition is very, very high. It's not like back in the day, when I think of old Hollywood, you had, your stars that were extremely beautiful, but if you were to put them today in society, well, the standards of beauty have changed. So has what is considered beautiful. So it's really interesting to me. As we move deeper into Pluto's transit through Aquarius, the future of beauty might be dominated by extreme measures. New beauty products will continue to promise perfection, but at what cost? We're already seeing the dangers of cosmetic surgery addiction and the rise of harmful body image trends fueled by social media. I mean, even Kylie Jenner herself has come out and cried on television saying, oh my gosh, there's so much pressure to be beautiful. It's baby, you are the monster that you created. So I don't know what you complain about. The line between enhancement and harm might become increasingly blurry. I mean, people literally remove their ribs just to look thinner in the midsection. Only time will tell if the pursuit of the perfect body will be worth the cost. Remember, it's not just about being beautiful, but it's also about taking care of yourself and loving yourself and learning to be confident in your own skin. It's not just about being skinny, it's about being skinny.